Hi and welcome to everyone joining us for this pre-recorded show, which is recorded on Saturday morning. It is for the Sunday race meeting, which takes place at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on the summer course, 26th of November, Sunday. Looking forward to a top day's racing. And just before I introduce Graham, looking at the feature races, we have the R500,000 Punters Cup Grade 2. We have the City of Cape Town Sophomore Sprint, the Bantry Bay Stakes, the Future Plate, and also the Schweppes Summer Bowl. So lots to look forward to. Graham, firstly, how are you doing? And then really looking forward to this card.
Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. And yeah, we've all been looking forward to going back to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth and a bumper race card, as you said, headed by the 500,000 Rand Cape Punters Cup. But it's a tremendous day's racing. It's not easy. Obviously, all of the recent form has been at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Some horses come straight from that racetrack back to Kenilworth. Some have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the return to Kenilworth. So we're going to have to take the form book on trust.
There we go. We're going to have to take the form book on trust, and let's get straight into race number 1, which is the first Cape Town 2-year-old scurry of the season. It'll be run over 800 meters. 12:20 is the time. And at the time of recording, scratched in race number 1, you can take out number 3, Crowned Hornbill. Let's take a look at the betting. Number 11, Sahara Cat, is priced up at 22-10. The comment from the stable is saying some very good work back home, expecting a decent run, and the same about number 1, Spare, who is currently at 4-1. Graham, the first juvenile race of the season over 800 meters, always very difficult to gauge, and I suppose you've got to keep a close eye on the betting market, as we always do, and the race time money could prove very, very lethal.
It could, and it'd probably be the best guide. As you say, it's always interesting to see these 2-year-olds come out. It's the start of a whole new generation of racing. The word is out that the progeny of One World are catching pigeons, as they say in racing. And I'm expecting number 11, Sahara Cat, to shorten even further as we approach race time. I think this one is probably the one they all have to beat. But obviously with 800-meter scurries, a lot depends on the start. They've got to step away well. The race is over just as it begins. So you've got to have that early speed. You've got to be well-behaved in the gates. You've got to jump cleanly to get the job done. The betting the best guide. Fortunately, this race does not form part of any of the exotics, but it's always exciting to see the new crop of 2-year-olds stepping out. And 11 Sahara Cat and 1 Spare, they are the 2 that the betting suggests will be fighting out the finish, or certainly be involved in the finish. But Glenn Cotson's 2 runners are also quite strongly fancied to go well on debut, and they could be involved in the trifecta and quartet money. But the best guide, as you've mentioned, will be the market as we approach race time.
And quite interesting, Vaughan Marshall's taken the filly straight against the boys here.
Well, generally, 2-year-old fillies could be more precocious than the colts, so that's not really a surprise. I think he wants to get her up and running, so she could be the one to beat. She could be too quick for them, because it's often been proven that at this early stage of their careers, the fillies can be more precocious than the colts.
That'll take us on to race number 2, which is the Schweppes Summer Bowl over 1,600 meters. And taking a look at the anti-post betting, number 1, Golden Hostess, fresh off a victory last time out, beating Happy Chance, 50 days off the track, is at 14-10. Number 2, Give Me a Shot, 28-10, and then number 3, Enemy Territory at 4-1. So Graham, in numerical order, they got the betting 1, 2, and 3. Are any of those 3 your top selection?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a bit of value here. Clearly, Golden Hostess sets the standard. She's officially the best weighted for this race over 1,600 meters. It opens up the bipod. We've had 1 scratching, number 6, School Policy. But I'm going to go with the Irish bred filly, number 3, Enemy Territory, one of her last 2 starts. She's bred to Northern Hemisphere time. I think she's starting to get the hang of things in a proper way. I think she's maturing nicely. I think she's going to continue to improve. And the fact that she gets 9.5 kilograms from Golden Hostess sways me towards number 3, Enemy Territory. But Golden Hostess warrants a great deal of respect. Number 2, Give Me a Shot, has done enough in the past to suggest that she should be very competitive. She meets Golden Hostess at even terms, both carrying 62, whereas Enemy Territory carries 52.5. The bipod is not my suggested bet this time round. It's Jackpot 2 is my suggested bet, races 6 through 9, because I'm trying to avoid races 3 and 5 as far as the exotics are concerned. I would include numbers 1 and 3 in the opening leg of the bipod. You've got to respect Golden Hostess's class, but I suspect Enemy Territory is going to go extremely well and prove good value at 4-1.
Race number 3 is Dualfit 1330. Will be the opening leg of the place accumulator. So that is the time that you need to get your bets on. And just having a look, number 7 is the early scratching. So take out number 7 in race number 3. Quick look at the betting. The 2 at the top of the boards, both from the Justin Snaith stable, so they hold a very strong hand. Number 12, Magic Verse, is at 11-2, and number 1, Get Impressed, at 6-1. So Graham, that basically tells us the open nature of this event.
Well, like I said a moment ago, I've gone for Jackpot 2 so I can avoid having to make exotic bet selections in races 3 and 5. This race is a nightmare. It's a Class 4 handicap over 1,600 metres. It's attracted a very big field. We're back at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. The pace is going to be interesting. As you said, we've had the 1 scratching, number 7, Dasgute. I had a chat with Lucinda Woodruff about number 2, Katsu. Did us a very good turn on this show when winning over 2,000 metres last time. Interestingly, Lucinda thinks he didn't quite stay. He won, yes, but was starting to wobble a little at the end. She believes 1,600 metres is his best distance, well drawn in gate 2. So whatever you do, you've got to respect number 2, Katsu. You've mentioned the fact that Snaith has got 2 useful runners, Get Impressed and Magic Verse number 12. Well, they both were maiden winners last time out. The tongue tie goes on number 12, Magic Verse. Clearly they both got scope for further improvement. Another maiden winner last time out was number 6, Willie John, and this in fact is going to be my each way selection in the race. I'm not confident in this race at all, but I suggest number 6, Willie John, at around 7.5-1 as a useful each way bet, possibly the trifecta and Quartet Roving Banker. Healthy Respect for Stable Companion, number 5, Illegal Chit Chat. I think that will also run well. I've mentioned Katsu as being one for the shortlist. This race is called the Vaughan Marshall Racing Syndicate. He's got Incredible and Shavut. Shavut could surprise, was hopelessly wide last time out. So that run is best ignored. On best form, could have a say. Yeah, but this race I could go on, and I could go on, and could go on. I could mention every single runner because they've all got some sort of a chance. The betting, as you say, tells the story. Not an easy start to the place accumulator. Willie John, my each way selection.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned numbers 8 and 9, because number 8, Incredible, and number 9, Shavut, at 14-1 and 16-1, definitely worth throwing into the exactas and the trifectas. Let's step on the gas, and the pick 6 commences in race number 4 over 1,400 meters, where they have priced up number 1, Teflon Man, 5-2. Number 8, Zil Morris, is 7-2, and you can get 6-1 and bet the rest. Scratched numbers 10 and 11. So Sail to the Moon and Enamorere take no part. So it'll make it a little bit easier, but still not that easy. So race number 4, opening leg of the pick 6. Graham, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, it's another very competitive Class 3 handicap, 1,400 meters, first leg of the pick 6. There are runners that are outside of my top 3 selections. You've got chances. There's always the potential for an upset. But in the opening leg of the pick 6, I'm happy to row in with 3 runners. In numerical orders, numbers 1, Teflon Man, is drawn in pole position and should go extremely well. Number 3, Steinbeck. That will go well from an inside gate. Steinbeck is doing well. He's very game, very consistent. He's probably forgotten how to win. And then the other talented 3-year-old is Zil Maurice. So from a pick 6 perspective, I'm happy to go with numbers 1, 3, and 8. 1, Teflon Man, would be my top choice. I think he should go well from pole position. He won his return to racing on the 10th of October, beating Marvel William. He's got to step up, admittedly. Zil Maurice has got very good form. Second to the very decent Cafe Culture. Fourth to Questioning. That was in the Cape Classic. So he steps down. He's ducked away from the Cape Punters Cup to run in this race where he probably has a more realistic chance of winning. So 1 Teflon Man and 8 Zil Maurice, the two 3-year-olds would be my top 2 choices. But I do have healthy respect for Steinbeck, Grant van Niekerk and Justin Snaith, drawn well because one of these days he's going to win and get it right. So 1, 8 and 3 for me in the opening leg of the pick 6, which is not to say there can't be an upset, but I'm going to roll in with those 3.
Now, Graham, when we did the show the other day, I said throw in that horse Fibonacci at around 25 to 1 from the Vaughan Marshall stable. This horse number 2, 55. It opened up 50 to 1. This is my roughie in the race. It is now 16 to 1. So there has been support in the market, a number of excuses, and it's dropped from a 109 to an 81. So just include number 2, 55. Obviously, the recent runs with a book of excuses.
Yeah, look, he's plummeting in the ratings. I know he's down from a high of 109 down to 81, but he's dropped 11 points in his last 3 starts. So the handicapper's really trying to make him as competitive as possible. He's drawn well on his very best form. If you go back in the form book, he certainly has a chance. I'm not going to argue with you, Sheldon, when you pick up these horses, as you did with Fibonacci the other day. I certainly take note. So number 2, 55, does go into the play.
There we go. We're throwing into the play from 50 to 1 down 16 to 1. So there is some money around. We're then going to move on to race number 5. Race number 5, year number 7, Coastal Commander is your 5 to 2 favorite. Number 4, Big Unit is at 5 to 1, and then 11 to 2 about number 3, Winter Pearl. No scratchings at this point in time. Graham, where do we start in race number 5?
I was hoping you were going to tell me that. Well, I'll start with number 15, Savantrix, or Savantrix. Was hopelessly drawn at Hollywoodbets Durbanville last time. Drawn 11 out of 11, was dropped way back in the race, made good late headway behind Fort Red to finish only 2.5 lengths off the winner. I had a chat with Dean Cannemare. He is expecting much better. He's doing well at home. Of course, we head back to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and the race is down the straight course. I'm going to assume there's going to be no significant track bias. We've got the Bantry Bay Stakes also over the straight course. This race is very competitive. This Class 4 handicap over 1,200 meters. So I'm going to assume for purposes of this preview, because I have no other information to go on as far as potential straight draw bias might be concerned. So I'm going with number 15, Savantrix, to beat home number 7, Coastal Commander, who's got pretty decent form as well. Forget his last run behind Tail of the Comet. That was in the ready-to-run stakes. He tried to go clear at the top of the lane and was found wanting in the closing stages. But Tail of the Comet, as we know, is one of the superior 3-year-olds around. Winter Pearl, his form at Hollywoodbets Durbanville has been good. He's been effective up the straight to a degree. Big Unit comes out of a maiden win when he beat Klopser. Klopser could have a lot more improvement to come. Lunch Money could surprise. He definitely prefers racing at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, so he could go well here. Again, it's a very trappy race. I'll repeat what I said earlier. I've avoided the early exotics because of races 3 and 5, so we've dealt with race 3. This is race 5. My first choice, my hesitant top choice would be number 15, Savantrix, but I'd be interested to hear what you fancy.
Well, I'm going the field in this race, so I'll get on to race number 6, and then I'll give you a little bit of a guidance of 1 or 2 horses I like. So race number 5, I am going the field because I have no confidence. As we move on to race number 6, which is the Bantry Bay Stakes over 1,100 meters. Number 2, Thunderstruck, is the 4 to 1 favorite. No scratchings at this point in time. Number 9, Sergey, 9 to 2. Number 4, Dance Variety, 11 to 2. And then number 12, Rio Karori at 6 to 1. Grade 1 winners in this field, like Tempting Fate, Thunderstruck. You've got Rio Karori. Graham, Tempting Fate, he's a horse who hasn't won for 427 days. He's got the inside draw. And just looking at the best weighted column, number 12, Rio Karori, tops that marginally from 10, 9, and 5. Bereave, Sergey, and Amina. Tempting Fate's a horse who I believe's got the ability at around 14 to 1 to go into the number 1 box. He's got 3 of his 5 wins over the distance, so the 1100 certainly suits him. Number 2, Thunderstruck's in terrific form at the moment. And let's just have a look. I think number 3, Noble City is scratched. On the betting site, there's no scratchings. But I looked earlier, and I think number 3, Noble City, has a virus from the... now with the Candace Bass Robinson stable. So just get that confirmed. And then looking at Rio Karari, 7-time winner. Any of these horses on their day could get into the winner's enclosure, Graham?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to confirm that number 3, Noble City, is a scratching. Look, if this race was over 1,200 metres, I'd be making number 12, Rio Karari, my clear-cut first choice. I know he's a 7-year-old, but he's in pretty good form. I just suspect, though he does top the best weighted column, I just suspect that these days that extra 100 metres can make a difference. He certainly will be competitive. He certainly will be finishing off his race nice and strongly. But over 1,200 metres, he would have been my confident first choice. Tempting Fate, again, I chatted to Dean Cannemeyer. He's doing good work at home. He's got as good a chance as any in this race. As you say, he's won his only start over the track and trip. He's won 3 or 5 over 1,100 metres. And again, he's drawn down the inside of the straight course. We're hoping there'll be no track bias or draw bias down the straight. But Tempting Fate will have every opportunity to record his 6th career victory. Thunderstruck is interesting, of course. He makes his Western Cape debut. He's a high-class sprinter. Should go well. There's no doubt about that. Dance Variety won his last 2 starts. Is in pretty good order at home. Is number 4, Dance Variety. There's been anti-post market support for him. Sergey also comes into the race in good form, but Bereave, forget about his last 2 starts. He didn't take to the heavy going. He's much better on the firmer, faster ground. He's won 4 times down the straight at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. He's got a high rating now, having beaten Gimme a Prince back in February in the Diadem Stakes. He could just need 1 run to bring him to his best. It's a tricky contest. Rio Karari is still my top choice, although, as I said, I would prefer over 1,200 metres. The chances to all of numbers 1, Tempting Fate, 2, Thunderstruck, 4, Dance Variety, 9, Sergey, and possibly to a lesser extent, number 10, Bereave. Those are the ones that should be able to make up a viable shortlist for the Battery Bay Stakes.
That'll take us on to the next event, which is race number 7, the City of Cape Town Sophomore Sprint, which is listed for the 3-year-olds over 1,200 metres. Now, number 6, Ready to Charge, number 1, Outlaw King. They're going to lock horns once again, so they're going to have a deal to settle on the race course. So number 6, Ready to Charge, is at 22-10. Number 1, Outlaw King, is 28-10, and then it's 11-2 about number 9, Future Variety. You were talking about Dean Cannemeyer, number 1, Outlaw King. Did you manage to get a word about how he's doing after that 119-day absence?
Yeah, he's doing all right at home. He's expecting a very forward run as Dean. He again feels that he just may need 1 more to bring him to his absolute top. As you mentioned, Outlaw King won the Umkamazi Stakes, beating Ready to Charge narrowly. Back in 3rd that day was Tail of the Comet. We know what Tail of the Comet has gone on to do since. And obviously after running 2nd to Outlaw King in the Umkamazi Stakes, Ready to Charge came out and beat Cliffhanger in a very good race at Turpentine on the inside track. So these 2 lock horns again. Of the 2, I would prefer number 6, Ready to Charge, because he's had more recent racing action and could just hold the edge in the fitness department over number 1, Outlaw King. The horse that I thought they might all have to beat, number 4, Jerusalem Rain, because if you judge him on his 2-year-old form, well, then he's a head and shoulders above Ready to Charge and Outlaw King. His debut run in the Western Cape was an absolute horror show, but that came after only 6 weeks back in training from having a spelling session in the Natal Midlands. But the word is out, there is a street corner whisper out that he's not doing as well as one would have liked back at home. So initially I was going to go with number 4, Jerusalem Rain, as my top choice. But I'm going to throw him in, absolutely. I'm not leaving him out of Jackpot 2. That is my chosen bet for the day. But I'm going to go 6, Ready to Charge, ahead of number 1, Outlaw King. Then number 4, Jerusalem Rain. His 2-year-old form is just too good to ignore. He may not have trained on, This race will give us a better idea than his last race. My fourth choice, and the one that I'm also going to throw into the jackpot, is number 9, Future Variety. I like the way he finished off his last run over 1,000 meters. This track and trip is ideal for him. He's won his only start of the track and trip. I do have respect for 3, Underworld, but I think that he might have a little bit to find here. So 6 from 1, 4, and 9. I'm throwing all 4 of them into the second leg of jackpot 2.
Just to add what you've said, Graham, number 6, Ready to Charge, is 3 kgs better off with Outlaw King for a 0.30 beating. So the weights, number 6, Ready to Charge, you could be spot on there. And number 4, Jerusalem Rain at 10 to 1. If he does bring his A game, he could be the value. So well spotted there, number 4, Jerusalem Rain. Let's go on to race number 8, which is the Cape Punters Cup, which is grade 2. This will be run over 1,600 meters. As we just get the devices to work here and see if there's any scratchings at this point in time. And I don't think any scratchings as we're recording at this point in time. The betting has number 5, Tail of the Comet, at 9 to 10. Open 7 to 10, touched even money, and back down 9 to 10. Now this horse, Tail of the Comet, Graham, you mentioned earlier on, he's a horse who's just set the tracks alight, and after watching his recent victory, what a display, an absolute animal with any amount of improvement still to come, and that's why he's odds on.
Yeah, it's an interesting race because there's no collateral form between numbers 2, direct collateral form between numbers 2, Questioning, and number 5, Tail of the Comet. Tail of the Comet, as we mentioned, his only defeat came in the Umkamazi Stakes. He's got quite a record, this 3-year-old son, to give him the green light. He won his first, he had his first 4 runs, of which he won 3 at 4 different tracks. Now he goes to a 5th different track in as many starts. So he certainly adapts well to his surroundings, does number 5, Tail of the Comet. So he is entitled to be favourite, but I was a bit surprised by the early betting. That he was as short as 7 to 10, and Questioning at one stage was as long as 9 to 2. Questioning, that has been snapped up. I expected the 2 of them to be much closer together in the betting. In fact, I'm hesitating, obviously, about which one to go for, but I've gone with number 2, Questioning. There was lots to like about the way he won the Cape Classic. He's certainly improving. Vaughan Marshall has trained 5 Guineas winners. He knows what it takes to take a top 3-year-old into the Hollywoodbets 2 million rand Cape Guineas on the 16th of December. This is the wrap-up, the final big trial before the Guineas. So I'm marginally in the camp of number 2, Questioning, ahead of number 5, Tail of the Comet. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised to see it go the other way around. I've included just these 2 numbers, 2 and 5, in the 3rd leg of Jackpot 2. But you have to have some measure of respect for number 9, Snow Pilot, and number 10, Shlui. Now, Snow Pilot ran 2nd to Questioning in the Cape Classic. Beaten nearly 2 lengths, so Snow Pilot should be held, but if Shlui is significantly better than Snow Pilot, and the riding arrangement suggests that he could be, because Grant Vanekek's opted to ride number 10 Shlui. He's won his 3 races from 1,200 to 1,400 meters. He should love going to 1,600 meters, and even further being out of a Giant's Causeway mare. So I do have a measure of respect for number 10 Shlui, who's got the worst of the draw to overcome. He is my 3rd choice, but I'm going with number 2, Questioning, to hold a slight edge over number 5, Tail of the Comet, but these 2 do look to dominate.
So there we have it from Graham. Both horses should have been a lot closer in the betting, and only the race is going to tell. So when it comes race time and the starter says go, you'll be glued to your TV screens, and let's see who has what it takes to get past the wire in front. Now, Graham, ending off the meeting is race number 9, which is the Hollywoodbets Bright Future Cape B Stakes over the 1,800 meter distance. Numbers 4 and 10 will renew rivalry. Number 4, Nat Jam, is at 3 to 1. Number 10, Sudden Song, 4 to 1. And then we go out 11 to 2 and better the rest. Let's kick off with number 4, Nat Jam, who did beat Sudden Song last time out. It was his first run at Durbanville in the Cape, and he came through to win with a late strong finish.
Came through with flying colours. Yeah, in that race he beat Sudden Song, as you've mentioned. Ignatius, who's also engaged here, ran 3rd. Both Ignatius and Sudden Song are 3 kilograms better off than Nat Jam, so he's going to have to step up further to confirm that form with Sudden Song and Ignatius. There should be little to choose between the three. I'm going to make number 10, Sudden Storm, my top choice. Richard Faree takes the ride for the Brett Crawford stable. He's certainly overdue a victory. His recent form for a long time has been very good, very consistent. You've got to take number 8, Ignatius, seriously. But Natcham might have that further scope for improvement and be able to, win despite being 3 kilograms worse off with the other two. Supreme Dream is the best weighted column. These B and C stakes races always, the conditions of these races always favour the fairest sex. And Supreme Dream was not too far behind them and ran 5th behind Natcham, beaten over the 2.5 lengths, and is now much better off at the weight. It's only got 51.5 to shoulder. So if there's going to be a surprise, it could come from the filly number 6, Supreme Dream, who's certainly well treated by the conditions of this race. And 11 Prevalence, good second over the mile last time behind Rule of Thumb. Drawn worst of all in gate 11, but must have some sort of a chance. I've gone a little wide in the last leg of Jackpot 2. We'll go through that jackpot in a moment. But my top choice would be number 10, Sudden Song, ahead of number 4, Natcham, and number 8, Ignatius. But you've got to respect a few others.
Well, Graham, these are the weekends that we live and breathe for. Obviously, recording today, early hours on Saturday. We have the Betway Summer Cup, which will be run, and we'll know the result later on. And then looking at the meeting at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Sunday, it's a bumper weekend. And then there's also the sales.
Yeah, we got the November 2-year-old sale on Sunday as well, going at the same time as this bumper race meeting at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. So it's an all-action weekend. As you mentioned, we record this early on Saturday morning, so the action hasn't got underway yet at Turfentine on Summer Cup Day. So it's a really, really top-notch weekend for horse racing lovers.
Well, your suggested bet is Jackpot 2. As you mentioned, you sidestepped the other legs of the races and other exotics because it looks so competitive. So we're going to bring up Jackpot 2 on screen. And Graham, if you wouldn't mind just guiding the punters through your numbers.
Okay, so I'm going with 5 horses in the opening leg of Jackpot 2, which is race 6. I'll go with numbers 2, 4, 9, 10 and 12. But if you want to add in, we did give number 1, Tempting Fate, a lot of airtime. So if you want to add number 1 to that opening leg, that's fine. Second leg, numbers 1, 4, 6 and 9. I'm looking for big improvement from number 4, Jerusalem Rain, to put that rather disappointing Western Cape debut firmly behind him, but ready to charge is the top choice, but going all of 1, 4, 6 and 9. Then in the Cape Punters Cup, relying on numbers 2, Questioning, and 5, Tail of the Comet to get us through. My third choice there would be number 10, Shlui. Then in the 9th and final race, which is the last leg game with numbers 4, Natcham, number 8, Ignatius. I'm going to throw in number 9, Harajuku, who was a good winner last time out. Then number 10, Sudden Song, and 11, Prevalence. But we also gave there number 6, Supreme Dream, some airtime. She is the best weighted and is the source of a potential upset. So if you want to add number 6 in the last leg, then by all means do so. It's very competitive racing. We're back at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth after a long spell at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. So the form book may well be turned on its head to a degree, but class always rises to the top.
Well, thanks very much, Graham, for your input, and enjoy the weekend's racing and all the best for the sales. And we'll catch you soon after the weekend, and then we'll know the results and exactly who's who and who's on top in the winner's enclosure. Thanks very much, Graham.
Thank you, Sheldon. As always, wishing the punters well.
Thanks very much to Graham Hawkins on the line. A bumper weekend ahead. There's plenty of racing activity and it's going to be a superb weekend. So to the punters and everybody out there, enjoy the racing, happy punting, and we'll catch you soon.